Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Paul Myers. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sierra's husband, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. Sierra and I are owners of Veiled Free and Intentional Counseling, and so I figured now would be a great time to go online and talk about mental health. I've done more video conference sessions and online telehealth therapy just because of the virus and everything going on in the world, so we figured we'd come online and help some people. We're going to be doing like an Ask a Therapist series. So if you have questions or maybe topics you want me to address, or maybe a struggle that you're having that you want to ask, we'd love to hear from you, and we're going to basically be taking those and turning that into videos and content that we're going to be putting out. So today we're going to address the topic of anxiety. So we're just going to do a quick overview of anxiety, what it is and isn't. We're going to cover some clinically proven treatments of anxiety. I've been getting this call a lot, dealing with anxiety a lot right now just because of the virus and everything going on in the world, and so it'll be a good topic to address. And so let's first cover what anxiety is and the difference between stress and anxiety. So stress is more of a normal response to a normal, tangible problem, right? So there's an example would be like you have a job interview, or you have an exam coming up, or I don't know, global pandemic, right? Anything like that. It's a tangible problem in the world. There's a legitimate concern, a legitimate thing that is real, and you're having a natural reaction to that, like a normal amount of fear, right? Nervousness, worry, right? That's very, very mild, okay? So anxiety is different than that. Anxiety is typically an anticipation of a problem, right? Or there is no tangible problem, but you have created a tangible problem in your mind, right? Or there is a tangible problem, but we're really taking it to an excessive degree, fixating on it, focusing on it, dwelling on it, ruminating on it, and really cycling that through our heads and having a lot of negative, excessive worrying, okay? So that's anxiety. It's a lot more intense than normal stress. I know a lot of people kind of mix those two together, like stress and anxiety, like they're the same. They're really not. Anxiety is much more intense, much more paralyzing. It's an actual disorder, versus stress is totally normal, right? So, some symptoms of anxiety would be excessive worrying, intrusive negative thoughts, constant rumination or rapid cycling, which is just constant thought firing or machine gun firing of negative thoughts. Sleep problems is really common with that disorder, as well as there's a lot of psychosomatic symptoms. This is basically your body's negative response to that, right? So that would be like elevated heart rate, or headaches, stomach issues, gastrointestinal issues, muscle cramps, tightening of chest, difficulty breathing, cold sweats, and a host of other manifestations of that physically, right? So those are just the common ones. The clinically proven treatments for anxiety, there's a lot of them. The good news is it is a curative disorder, so you don't have to actually have it forever. You can eliminate it and get rid of it. That's really encouraging. There are some disorders out there that you cannot get rid of. Anxiety is curative. You can eliminate that, or at least diminish it drastically to where it's manageable, right? So that's encouraging, it's hopeful. Let's talk about some clinically proven treatments of anxiety. So number one is cardiovascular exercise. It's basically just 30 minutes of elevated BPMs, or elevated heart rate, right? Of continuous intensity where there's no breaks. So biking, running, swimming, things of that matter that are cardiovascular, right? They're aerobic exercise. And so aerobic exercise really benefits anxiety and mental health, because your brain is part of your body. Every doctor will tell you to work out and exercise because it's healthy, it's good for you. And so particularly for anxiety, it helps transition your body from an emergency nervous system functioning to a relaxed nervous system functioning. So you have two central nervous systems. There's the sympathetic nervous system, which is your body's fight or flight response. It's an emergency response to prep your body for intensity, right? And it will produce adrenaline and cortisol, which is kind of like a natural stimulant and emergency hormone, right? And so then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. That's basically a relaxed nervous system. It's the opposite of emergency. And we're not really meant to function in that sympathetic nervous system. We want to be functioning on a parasympathetic nervous system most of the time, and then occasionally transitioning when necessary, right? And so exercise helps your body recover. So you'll have that intense workout, and then your body will want to recover. So when you're done with your workout, you'll feel better. Your body will transition out of that emergency nervous system functioning to recover, to relax you. You'll get a lot of endorphins, which is like a runner's high, and a lot of mental health benefits. It'll de-stress you and flush your system of any excess cortisol and adrenaline that you're having, which is very beneficial. So that's the first anxiety treatment. Second anxiety treatment is relaxation. So there's a lot of versions of relaxation. There's guided relaxation, which could be a person talking, taking you through an experience, or it could be music or sounds taking you through an experience. There's also guided relaxation in more of a clinical sense with a professional, where it's a visualization. So you would close your eyes, you get in a very relaxed state, and you would, your therapist would take you through a visualization exercise. Very effective. Feels like you took a nap when you get done, right? Other forms of relaxation are more just kind of home holistic remedies that help, and they're all, hot baths, candles, incense, essential oil. Some people go to the spa, some people get a massage, some people do yoga. These are all examples of ways that relax at home, right? And then you may use relaxing music and the things that are all very calming, right? There's also deep breathing exercises, and so deep breathing is defined as 4-second inhale and a 4-second exhale, and that counts as one, right? So you need about 20 to 30 of those minimum. So it's a bit of a time commitment, but if you do commit to it, you will get the benefits. A lot of people will start doing a deep breathing exercise like, this isn't working, right? And they get impatient with it, so they don't really commit fully, so they don't get the benefits of it. And so if you really do commit to deep breathing, it really does work. And it's clinically proven, that increased oxygen flow to the brain will help lower your heart rate. And your heart doesn't have to pump as fast to distribute that oxygen. And so it will transition your central nervous system functioning from emergency, the sympathetic, to parasympathetic, which is good. We want that. So deep breathing is effective. You can't overdose on oxygen. Our air doesn't have enough high oxygen concentration to overdose, so you can use it as much as you like. You can do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, or before you go to bed, which are great times to do deep breathing. You can also do it as many times as you like throughout the day. If you feel any kind of stress coming on, or worry, or feel negative at all and you want to clear your head, it's very effective, right? Another anxiety treatment is meditation. Meditation is more a skill, and you're just clearing your mind, and the goal is not to think, and to be fully present and focus on your 5 senses from a clinical standpoint, or if you're doing meditation from a spiritual aspect, we're really meditating on who God is, His character, His love, His grace, His mercy, His sovereignty, and His power. And we're being in communion with Him, praying to Him, and being still and really soaking in that peace that He offers, right? So both are healthy, both are beneficial, but it is, from a clinical standpoint, it's more clearing your thoughts, thinking about nothing, being really present, and focusing on your 5 senses like touch, taste, smell, what you can hear, things like that, right? Then we have other forms of anxiety treatment would be natural coping. Natural coping is just hobbies, interests, things you do for fun. It's for your own personal sense of satisfaction and for no other reason, right? So some people read books, Some people watch movies, some people play games, some people travel, some people like exercise, some people like sports, some people just like to be outside, some people garden, some people cook, some people like art, music, they play an instrument. And just tons of options of ways that you can have a hobby to cope naturally with your feelings. You know, notice it is natural coping, not substance coping or things that are addictive, right? There's a lot of addictive hobbies that are detrimental, and so we want to do non-addictive hobbies, right? That's a healthy escape from your mind and a temporary relief that's very beneficial, okay? The last anxiety treatment is more clinical. It's cognitive skills, so it's positive thinking and positive self-talk and having positive core beliefs. This is a skill. It's very hard to just create that on your own. I would highly recommend you get therapy and do it with a professional, and it's just much more beneficial. I do a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is really effective for anxiety and specific to this type of treatment. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the most clinically proven treatment for counseling. It's from all the theoretical orientations of therapy. There's a lot of good ones, but this one's great for anxiety in particular because it really focuses on how core beliefs control and dictate how your thought process tends to go. It could be positive or negative, right? Which will dictate your feelings and emotions, which will then produce a behavior a lot of the time. And so cognitive behavioral therapy will focus more on changing core beliefs, changing your thought process to be more positive, more rational, more realistic. You're in more control of your mind, more in control of your thoughts, and you're steering your mind and your thoughts in a direction that's more beneficial for you, that changes how you feel to be less stressed, right? So it's positive thinking. There's a lot of ways to have positive thinking. One of the best ways is to journal or to write your thoughts down. There's several ways to journal. So there's like a gratitude journal you could do, where you write down what you're grateful for that day, the positives in your life, the blessings that you have, things that are good, that are real, right, that are pre-existing as of right now. That's great. Make that a daily practice, very effective. Another way to journal would be writing down your negative thoughts and then basically getting those out, and then you take it, you crumble it up, you discard it, you trash it, you throw it out, you burn it, you get rid of it, right? So it's essentially expunging the negative and then tangibly eradicating that or eliminating that or getting that out, right? So you're taking your thoughts, throwing it in the trash, right? Another way would be more of a clinical sense, where you're writing down your negative thoughts and the positive alternatives to those thoughts, or you're writing down the negative thoughts and the tangible information you have to back up those thoughts and the evidence you have to back up those thoughts, as well as the positive thoughts and tangible information you have and evidence to back up the positive thoughts. So negative thoughts with tangible evidence and positive thoughts with tangible evidence. And a lot of times what we'll find, there's way more evidence to support the positive than there is to support the negative, because it's just a fear-based way of thinking that's all feelings-based and not necessarily based off reality. So feelings don't really care about reality, and so they do their own thing. And so we have negative thoughts that are fear-based. They tend to be irrational, not always, but a lot of the time they are irrational. So it's helpful to kind of rationalize your way through, zoom out, look at your thoughts on paper, write them down, get them out, and be able to process through them that way, right? So that's all. Hopefully that helps. If you have questions or concerns, or you don't have a counselor and need help, we'd be honored and humbled to hear from you. Until then, we'll be praying for you guys, and we appreciate your time, so stay safe.